Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we will be learning how to cut this beautiful gown you saw before this video. And the material I'll be using to make this gown is crepe fabric, the light crepe precisely. So what I'm using 3 yards, but if you are a smaller person, you can use 2 yards or 2.5, or if you're a bigger person, you can use up to 4 yards. But in this video, and for this person I'm making it for, I'm using just 3 yards of fabric. And the first thing, I'll go ahead to fold my fabric, to fold it into two. This is for the front um pattern. So guys, to know the amount of fabric that I needed on fold, to know that I divided her around it by four, and I marked it out. And also I added, I checked for extra 4 to 5 inches, like extra 4 to 5 inches. Then I'll I'll pin it down. So after pinning the fabric down, the next thing is to rule out my starting line, and this line I will label it my shoulder line. So on the shoulder line, I will go ahead to divide my shoulder measurement by 2, and I'll mark it down. I'll go down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope, and from the shoulder slope I will mark down her armhole measurement. Remember, armhole measurement is round bust divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. So you mark it down, then I'll connect the lines. So I'll go ahead to mark down a round bust measurement divided by 4. I'll add one inches for freeness allowance, and also 1.5 inches for sewing allowance. Here I'm dividing what I have on her armhole measurement. I'm dividing it into two. Then I came in by half of an inch, and I'm connecting the lines like so. So the next thing is, I'll go ahead I'll go ahead to mark out our full length measurement, and I'll add it 2 inches for folding allowance. After that, I'll mark out her waist point, and I'll connect the lines. I'll also go ahead to mark out her round waist divided by 4. I'll add 1 inch for the freeness allowance, and also 1.5 inches for sewing allowance. And from her waist point, I'll come down to her hip point, and I'll connect the line. I'll also, on her hip line, I'll also mark out her round hip divided by 4, and 1 inch freeness allowance, and also 1.5 inches sewing allowance. So guys, because the gown has gathered effect at the hemming point, so I'm measuring where the gown itself will stop, then the gathered effect will start from there. And I have 31 inches. The full length of the gown is 40 inches. So I'm making use of 31 inches for where the gown will stop, then the gathered effect will start from there. Okay, so I am marking out the measurement, and I'm connecting the lines like so. So I'll go ahead to connect my hip measurement to the waist, and also from the waist to the bust point. So for the neckline, I'll mark out 3 inches for the neck width, and for the neck depth for the back, I'm marking out 1.5 inches, and for the front, I'm making use of 3 inches. And I'll connect them like so. I'll connect the neckline from the neckline to the shoulder slope, and I'll also connect the neck measurement, the neckline. So guys, and this will be the end of our front drafting pattern. Okay, I'll go ahead now to cut it out. Okay guys, I've gone ahead to cut out the front pattern, and now I'm cutting out the back neckline first, because I'll use this front pattern to cut out the back pattern before cutting out the front neckline. Okay, so guys, I'm about to cut out the back neckline, and I've placed the front neckline, sorry, I'm about to cut out the back pattern, and I've placed the front pattern on the remaining pieces that I'll be cutting out the back pattern with. Okay, I've gone ahead to pin it down, and I'm cutting the back pattern out now. So guys, I'm done cutting out the back pattern, and I'll go ahead to cut out the front neckline on the front piece. So on the back pattern, this gown does not have zip at the back. So for her hair to pass through at the neckline, I'm slashing up to 5 inches on the back neckline, like so. So the next thing to do here is to go ahead and cut out the sleeve for this dress. So first of all, I'm measuring out what I have on the armhole measurement, and also to cut out the pieces I'll be using for the gathered effect. I'm measuring what I have at the hemming point, and I'll times it by 4. Yeah, because this pieces is on fold here. So I'll times whatever I got by 4. I got 15 inches. 15 inches times 4 will give us 16 inches, right? So divide the 60 inches, no, times the 60 inches by 2. Okay, you times it by 2, it will give us 120. So 60 inches for the front pattern, 60 inches for the back pattern. That will give you the gathered effect that you are looking for. So guys, the next thing here is to cut out uh the sleeve for this gown. And first of all, I'm marking out my starting line. And from this starting line, I'll go ahead to mark out the 4 inches, and then I'll go ahead to also mark out the full length of the sleeve. But for the full length, after marking out the full length of the sleeve, because this sleeve is a puff sleeve, so I'll be adding extra 5 inches to the normal length of the sleeve, so that to make the puffy effect visible. Okay, and I'll connect the lines like so. So guys, on the 4 inches that I marked out, I'm marking down her armhole measurement, which we got while drafting on the pattern, right? So after marking down her armhole measurement, I'll also go ahead to impute the 1 inch freeness allowance, and also 1.5 inches for the sewing allowance. And after adding that, I'll go ahead to add extra 3 to 4 inches also for the pleating at the shoulder effect, right? Because it is a puff sleeve, and also the shoulder is kind of pleated, right? So I'll be adding extra inches I'll use for the pleating on the shoulder. I added 3 inches here, and I'm making the sleeve curve. So guys, I will not go ahead to explain everything I did on the sleeve because what I did here is just the basic sleeve method that I used. Just that I went on to add extra inches for the puffy effect and also for the pleating effect, right? So you can go to my channel. I've done a separate video on how to um cut how to cut out your basic sleeve. You can go through the video and use the method. Okay. So yeah, like I said before, after drafting out the basic sleeve, I'll go ahead to add 3 inches for the pleating effect. Okay, and this is how I'll be adding it. So guys, also on the full length of this sleeve, I'll go ahead to mark out her round sleeve divided by 2, and I'll also give it enough allowance for the puffy effect. Okay, I went ahead to measure exactly what I have on the cap size, on the cap area, to the full length of the sleeve, and I'll just mark a straight line, and I'll go ahead to cut out the sleeve. So guys, after cutting out the first sleeve, I'll go ahead to cut out the second sleeve, and I'll come back to you guys. So guys, after cutting out the sleeve for this gown, I'll go ahead to cut out the pieces I'll be using for the gathered effect. Okay, and I'm cutting out 60 inches for the front pieces, and also 60 inches for the back pieces. But the length I'll be using is to the remaining length that is remaining to complete the full length of the gown. Okay, yeah, the remaining length is 9 inches. So it's 9 inches that's remaining to complete the full length of the gown. So I'm marking 9 inches here, and I'll mark it times 2. Okay guys. So after marking it guys, I'll come back to show you guys what what I have. So guys, I'm done I'm done cutting out the gathered effect, and this will be the end of this cutting tutorial. In the next video, we'll be learning how to sew this gown. Okay. See you guys in my next video. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, like my video, share and comment your opinion. See you guys then. Stay blessed.